Hello, what's good everybody? Welcome to the Changing Times podcast. And this is our debut show here at Storm Building. And I'd like to say I'm here with two of my hosts as well, asking questions with our first guest. Today we have Jay. What's up, Jay? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. You?
Okay, Jay's in the studio and we've got TR.
Yes.
We have a guest in the studio. I'll tell you a little bit about him. He's a support worker. He's also a spoken word artist. So welcome to the studio. He goes by the name of J. Is it Megiddo?
Megiddo.
Sorry. See, I'm trying to get this
first
right.
one. A lot of people get it wrong.
Okay, thank you for coming to the show. First of all, can you explain where did the name come from?
Megiddo is it actually means Armageddon, but then it's also a place where the first recorded battle in history took place. So yeah, Megiddo is a couple of things in it, but it's a place basically in Israel where many wars have taken place throughout history at that specific place.
So for the guest doesn't know who you are, could you explain a little bit about what is it you do, and what you do as well as a past hobby?
Well, I'm a support worker. I've been a support worker for about 10 years overall. I've worked in different fields of care. I've worked with the younger, with the elderly, and at the moment I'm working with people with autism. So I have a genuine all-around experience within care.
Your hobby as well?
Oh yeah, I'm a spoken word artist. Obviously I go by the name of J Megiddo. I've been doing it just over a year and a half, and actually as well, I put out an album about 2 months ago, which, it's doing, the feedback I've got has been amazing, so I've just been happy I've been able to do that.
Yeah, so I want to ask you, what are the difficult challenges that comes with being a support worker?
It can be anything, we're dealing with people who are vulnerable overall. It doesn't matter whether it's the young people or elderly people with autism, these are all people that can be exploited because they're vulnerable.
Yeah, so how do you manage all of that and still be able to remain composed and still do your job effectively?
The thing about this job is it's not easy, it's not for everybody, and I do have a lot of experiences. There are diffusing situations, techniques, and when you know the individual, it makes it easier. The sooner you get to know someone, the easier it will be. But just because it's like that, it doesn't mean that on someone on a really, really bad day, you're going to get them different. You just have to, just take each day different. You can't assume, one person can have a fantastic day, and the next day he can be in a completely foul mood. Right. You just got to take it in your stride.
Just lastly, so what do you enjoy the most about being a support worker, and how does it, make you feel when you support those with disability, those who have disabilities?
Well, for me, it's about making a difference in someone's life, and I don't know how well you guys understand autism. People with autism process things very, very differently. Yeah. So it takes them a longer time to process information as well, and to mentally prepare for certain things. So, you can't be spontaneous with someone with autism because they're very routine stricken, Yeah. In some cases, you'll tell them how the plan is going to be like for the week. They'll need to, they ask who's coming in the next day and stuff like that to mentally prepare themselves. Right. So it's just really just staying on top of things like that.
So you do spoken word. So how do you incorporate, being a support worker to doing poetry or spoken word? How does that benefit you?
Well, I have to find time for it. If there's something I want to do, I do 12-hour shifts. There's no in between. I go in, I know already I'm not leaving for the next 12 hours. Right. But I was working somewhere else before when I started doing the spoken word, but it would be the same thing. I will finish my work, and then from there, no break. In some cases, I'll just go straight to an event. You find the energy, you have to find it. You can easily just go home, but if you want it badly enough, you just have to do it.
What do you enjoy more, the support work or doing spoken word?
Well, the support work is paying the bills, isn't it? Let me just put it that way, innit? So, But the poetry is the hobby, is what I want to do, is, something I'm passionate about. Yeah. So
where do you want to take that? Sorry, just lastly.
Where do I want to take it? Well, I'm trying to take it as far as I can take it. I mean, I put an album out. Yeah. I've got a YouTube channel.
Amazing.
And then I started doing since lockdown as well, because we haven't been able to performing events. There's been live events, as you know, the poetry events have moved online into live. But then also as well, I started doing daily, like 1 minute poetry videos.
Okay.
I have like images, pixels basically. So it's like picture images. So I did like I think 30 something at the moment now.
Right.
I went like 24 days back to back, and then after that it was like one every 2 days, something like that.
Amazing. Thank you.
So as you said before, that you've acquired techniques through doing support work. So could you give like examples of personal skills you've acquired throughout your time there?
So with this kind of job, you need to remain calm. You know, if something's kicking off and you're panicking, it's not going to help the situation. You're the professional. They're the ones who are vulnerable. Even though they might be irate, you need to remain your composure, because if you don't, you're the one that's going to cause the situation to escalate. You get angry, you react. You know, you're gonna have other people around, people of the public and stuff like that. You need to be the one that takes the control of the situation and sieve it through, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So how, as we've just gone through a pandemic, how have you coped with doing both sides of your jobs, a hobby and a job?
Well, it's been difficult, but you know, I've just got on with it. As you know, I've been key worker, frontline worker. I've still been working this whole time, and at the period when it first started, it was probably one of the most difficult weeks of my life. I mean, everyone knows it was just crazy. It was like something out of a movie, but we managed. We had a lot of people off. Let's just say sick. There was a lot going on between the couple of us who were actually okay. We managed to make it work. We took care of each other and we pulled through somehow. I don't even know how we did it, but somehow we did it.
What made you start poetry, and when did you start poetry?
I've wanted to do poetry for such a long time. I'm probably going back 20 years, if I'm going to be real with you. So I got to a point where I was just like, I'm never going to know if I don't at least try. And it took a situation for me to say, you know what, okay, I'm just going to do this now. Basically, somebody owed me money, and when I was asking for the money back, and they were refusing to pay, and they kept giving me excuses and stuff like that, and I was like, this guy's supposed to be my friend. He's rubbing me up the wrong way. And I know he has money and he's spending money. I know that already. So it's like, I felt like he was disrespecting me. I was getting quite upset about it. And I was thinking about a few things. But then I just had a breather and I just thought, you know what? I just said to myself, just keep the money. And then randomly, my friend posted a story at a poetry event. So I asked him about it. And he said, yeah, come down to events. So then I started just to come, just to see, catch the vibe. And like I can just picture myself doing it. I think I did that for about 4 months. And then I started in March 2019, last year. And I still remember that first performance. I mean, oh yeah, I forgot to mention as well, like stage fright is one of my biggest fears in life.
Let's talk about that earlier on as well, yeah.
Yeah, like since I was a kid.
You talk about having stage fright and stuff. So how do you overcome that? Even though you're going to be performing at different venues, but how do you still overcome those nerves, and how does that impact on your performance just generally?
It's just about being confident with your words. And some people read their poems. I don't do that. For me, right. I want that crowd connection. Yeah. I do a lot of practice. All my poems I know by head. So I think that's important. That gives it for me. Yeah. Some people, when they read, it's like they're just speaking normally, but I can't do that. Reading in front of people is another thing completely. You'll just lose the words. So I think that gives it a better flow for me and a better connection with the audience.
Do you ever worry about, forgetting your lines?
It's happened already before. It's happened many times, especially in the beginning. When there's loads of people, you've been practicing, and then your brain just freezes. It's happened before, and it happens to the best. It happens to the best of us, but it's happening less and less, as you go on.
Do you have like specific topics you talk about in your spoken word, or is it mainly focused on one topic?
Well, I've got, on my album, I touch on a lot of different things. Mental health, what it was like growing up in the 90s, starting poetry. I talk about One of my poem monsters is about sleep paralysis. I don't know if anyone's ever experienced that. I talk about that, my own experiences with that. I touch on all different subjects. I talk about beauty. One of my poems, Imperfections. I've got all different subjects. One of my popular ones is Mr. Nice Guy. It's quiet. Right. So it's basically about the friend zone. That one is like, it's quite harsh. Let me just put it that way.
Come into it like, say, today you'll think, I'm going to talk about this topic, or is it something that just comes to you throughout the day?
Normally with these kind of things, all these poems are because something happened to me at some point in my life. So if these things didn't happen, I wouldn't have these subjects to talk about. So some of these ideas were flowing in my head for like years, literally. So until I started putting them down and getting it out there. Okay,
we can run out of time now, so I can ask you one more question and stuff like that. And we've spoken about what you're good at. Mm-hmm. Tell us what you're not good at. What are the things that you do in life that you have to do to get things done, but you just hate doing? What are they, those things, and how do you deal with them?
This is the crazy thing, you know, as being an adult, just in general, you have to do a lot of things that you don't want to do anyway, you know. So you just have to just get on with it and do it, even if you don't want to do it. That's, for me, the best way to describe it. There's loads of things I don't want to do, but I know I have to do them, you know. Who wants to really be paying tax? You work hard and all this, and you look and you think, I've been taxed 300 and something, you know. You have to do it.
So what advice would you give people, basically, who are struggling during these times, basically having to do things that they don't want to do, but it's affecting them mentally and stuff like that? What kind of advice can you give them?
To just keep going. Keep going. And that is life. We have to do some things sometimes we don't want to do. Mm-hmm. But if we want to go further, if we want to achieve certain goals and certain dreams, you just have to just deal with it and then get through it. And that's where the greatness is.
Thank you for coming on to the show.
Oh, the pleasure's all mine.
Thank you very much, sir. And I'd like to give big up to my co-hosts as well, TR and Jay, for joining us as well. So for everyone that's been listening, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, join and follow the social medias and stuff like that, share and stuff like that. And see you next time on the Changing Times podcast. Peace. Later.